So I've gotten invited to three, not one, not two, but three 30th birthday parties this week. And I know what you're thinking. Oh my God, Janice, you're bragging because you have so many friends. What's it like to be so popular and everyone wants you to be at their birthday party because you're just the life of the party? No! I would never talk to myself like that, first of all, although I wish I would. But no, I'm saying this because each time I get an invitation, it's a reminder that I myself am turning 30 soon. And it feels different than a lot of the milestone ages I've hit, like 18, when you can drive without an adult supervision, or 21, when you can legally drink and you're celebrating maybe like your first job and adulthood. Turning 30 feels not like a celebration, but like you're running out of time. Like it's suddenly New Year's Eve and you're realizing, what the fuck have I been doing this whole year? What have I been doing with my whole life? Did I even accomplish my goals? Did I even reach them? I'm not celebrating, I'm panicking because, yeah, I feel like I'm running out of time. And I've been asking a lot of my friends who have recently turned 30, what is it like? To my surprise, even the one that literally forbids us to talk about turning 30 and just like immediately shuts down when any mention of age is being brought up, she was excited. And the one that always has her shit together, of course, doesn't feel any differently. It's just another age, it's just another year. So it's been really nice to hear that from both sides of the spectrum, people are okay being 30. 30 is neutral to good. So why am I so wound up about it? Why can't I be just as calm, cool, and collected as they are? Because I do really want that. So if you haven't guessed, today's episode is going to be about the mindset I eventually hope to get to, which is to stop acting like my life is over and treat this milestone age, 30, as what it really is, a new era about finding more security in who I am and making decisions that are more authentic and aligned to me.
It's tea time with Janice.
So why am I so afraid of the two handle to turn into a three? I think to understand this, we have to go back to like when I was 8 and I thought that 30 was the finish line. Like you made it. You are old, but in a good way. You are wiser, you're living a more stable life, you're rich, your life is put together. And for some reason, figuring things out looked really glamorous to me at 8. Like I imagine in my early 20s when I was figuring things out and exploring, I would be living like my most free, independent life. No one to tell me how to spend my money, no one to tell me when to go to bed, no one to get permission from to hang out with my friends, no one to tell me if I could eat snacks or not, how much, what kind. I was a big snacker. I still am a big snacker. It's very important to me. Free of my bullies. I imagine just having the most tight, loyal group of girlfriends, like in Sex and the City, going to brunch, eating snacks, sipping on drinks, or after a long day of work, we'd somehow end up at one of the girls' apartments and we would be talking about our work crush or coming up with brilliant ideas for a work project so that we could impress our manager, complaining about our manager. And of course, every time we go out, we would walk on the sidewalk with the wind blowing in our hair. And we'd be going on adventurous trips like Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. And that's obviously where I'm going to meet my one true love. And then on the career front, I don't know why, but I always had this vision of being a CEO of some big company and For some reason, I'm always in a press room with like flashing lights and reporters screaming questions at me on top of each other. And all of a sudden, I would start answering every single question that was thrown at me, but in this like really poised, graceful, elegant, eloquent way, and leave all the reporters stunned because I was just so impressive. And then in my late 20s, I obviously would get married, have kids, buy a house, maybe not in that order. But you can tell that at 8, I was quite the visionary. I really thought out my life path and had it all planned for before I turned 30. And I think part of that vision at 8 was shaped by what society, like in movies, would tell you your 20s were supposed to look like, what turning 30 meant. But what my actual 20s looked like was pretty far from being easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. I do think my 20s have been beautiful, but has it been easy or breezy? I don't think so. It's taken a lot of unglamorous hard work for me to get to a point where in my 20s I've gone from being anxiously attached to avoidant to I'm hoping now more secure. I have expectations, or maybe a better word for it is I have standards for the people in my life, not just romantic relationships, but platonic relationships. And I would say that the bar is not in hell anymore. I'm okay with letting go of friendships that just don't serve me in my life anymore, are disingenuous, have hurt me, and I'm no longer clinging on to them because there's some kind of sentimental value or hopes that they would change. And I finally feel like I'm less of a pushover. And I emphasize the word less because we are not completely there yet, but we are doing better. Like, I feel confident saying no to things and not feel so guilty about them. Or I feel confident saying no without having to be super defensive and explain myself. For example, I now can say no to drinks when I go out because I just don't like the taste of alcohol. See, I did it again. I defended myself. But you had to know that. And I hated it when people asked me why. So either I would take sips just to avoid that awkwardness and to avoid the fact that they maybe don't know me as well and don't know that I can be just as fun sober, probably even more because I won't feel sleepy and feel like they can't drink around me or that it's like awkward and they can't let loose. That's a whole other thing. I am okay sometimes saying no to hanging out because I need to recharge my social battery. I used to feel a lot more guilty or afraid that I would be missing out, but I've been working on that. And if you want to hear more about that, I did a whole episode on protecting your peace and boundaries with Sammy. But for today, we're going to stick to the freaking out about 30 topic. Um, Overall, I would say that my 20s have been a lot about loss. Loss of friendship, loss of jobs, loss of relationships. It's a lot about insecurities like my acne, my body image, my career, myself. It's been a lot of self-doubt, questioning what have I accomplished? Is what I'm doing the right thing to do? When will I know if all of this is worth it and why this is all happening to me? Questioning if whatever I've been doing is the best use of my youth because this is the youngest I will ever be. And just feeling all the pressure to accomplish it all before 30. Because once I'm 30, I can't be silly. I can't be a kid anymore. I have to take everything seriously. And in writing this episode, I have been thinking a lot about the Forbes 30 under 30s list because I feel like it kind of speaks to this feeling. And say what you want about the Forbes 30 under 30, but for me, I think it's like a small annual reminder that other people have accomplished their biggest dreams and goals by 30. So why can't I? It's possible. Why can't I? The scariest part of the idea of turning 30, I think, is just the mismatch between what you thought your life would be and where you actually are. So let's change our perception of what 30 means because I need to stop acting like my life is over. Like, do I actually want kids right now in this moment? No. I am not ready because I still want that time to grow my career and learn more about myself before I can give that time to growing another human being and taking care of it. I think it's time to let go of these old expectations I had of myself, to be more present and make decisions based on what is right for me at this moment and just owning where I'm at. And yesterday was kind of an amazing reminder of that. My sister's roommate got me this sticker, and I'm going to show you it. It's basically a sticker in the Barbie font and color, but it says baddie. And I have to say, being called a baddie by someone that is 3 years younger than me, so basically a Gen Z, kind of feels like the same thing as me telling my grandma she's cool because she's into Labubus. And that was confirmed by my sister when she followed with, yeah, she thinks you're so millennial. Now, I could choose to take this badly. Like, I'm so old, I'm basically a boomer, I don't know the Gen Z slang anymore, I don't know what's cool anymore. Or I could choose to embrace it because, yeah, I'm a fucking baddie. God. I just love the subtle division that I am a millennial because I am. By definition, I am a millennial. And I'm so glad that I'm relevant enough where a Gen Z is always thinking of me. Shout out, Liv. But I'm not relevant enough that I have to behave like a Gen Z and go out to frat parties with them and take pulls from the same bottle or go out clubbing or to bars in a little mini crop top and micro mini skirts, braving the freezing cold because I wasn't built for that when I was 21 and I'm not built for that now. I don't think that turning 30 or becoming older means that you can't have fun and you can't go out and you can't wear skimpy little outfits whenever. That still happens occasionally when I have the zest for life. I'm just saying that I don't feel the need to do that if that doesn't align with who I am anymore. I'm comfortable where I'm at right now, going to bed at 10 p.m. and waking up probably at the crack of dawn and just accepting that I am not somebody that likes to do that because when I was 21, I would go out and drink and wear those outfits because my friends were doing it and I felt guilty or I was scared to miss out, but it wasn't because I wanted to. So yeah, that is one of the things that I love about becoming older. And here are some other ways I want to develop growing into 30 and beyond. Before I get into this list, I just want to say I'm out here getting gifts, which is one of my love languages, just being myself. So really, the situation couldn't have been better. Okay, so here are some other things I want to develop going into 30 and beyond. And I wrote them all down. So prioritizing friendships and learning to let go of those who aren't aligned with me, to stop caring what people think so much. And I starred that one in all caps too. Oh, here's one. Don't take everything so personally. Like when somebody that I haven't talked to in a while, maybe let's say a year, or someone that I don't know that well, that I've met once or twice, maybe 3 times, and we follow each other on Instagram, but we don't really talk, doesn't respond to my text. Because I feel like I start to spiral and crumble and think that they hate me and I annoyed them and I destroyed this friendship and why would I be so dumb and I'm so afraid of them ghosting me. But I need to stop taking it so personally because I'm not the world's best texter. I would say I'm far from that. I don't respond to people, and this is not on purpose or intentional. I don't respond to people admittedly for like a month, just because life happens and you get super busy, you're traveling, you're filming a podcast episode, you're writing the script, you're whatever it is, I wouldn't want someone to take it personally either. So I shouldn't be taking it personally. I want to be a little more delusional and I want to invest more, like practice investing financially more and find more confidence in myself to just make a decision instead of being so paralyzed with the choices that I have because I need to know all of my options before I make a decision. And this point was inspired by the Mel Robbins podcast. She was saying how hard it was to just figure out our lives because we are on social media like LinkedIn and Instagram, and we see all of our friends doing these really glamorous things, going to summer vacations in Europe, jet skiing, beach, getting engaged, job promotion, and all you're thinking sitting there is just, well, I could be doing that. I could be doing this too. I'm sitting here doing this. And you're comparing yourself to all of your friends. I think it's a lot like dating apps, like where you think that you have an infinite number of options. So you can't compromise. You need every single item on your list to be checked. And if somebody doesn't check that one box, then you're moving on to the next person. When in reality, I feel like relationships, even the greatest relationships, are a little bit about compromise. But that's another rant for another time. Going back to this, I just want to be better at recognizing this toxic mentality that I can't make a decision until I know all of my options. Because we're never going to know all of our options. You can only make a decision that is right for you and feels right for you in that moment based on everything you know in that moment. But like I said the last episode, life is a series of experiments where you try something, you learn, and then you adapt, meaning that you're going to be learning new things along the way and changing your theory. And that's when you can make a new decision based on the updated knowledge you've learned. So yeah, learning to make a decision and cutting down on social media when I find myself comparing myself to others. And then there's one more thing. I wrote, I want to get better at holding people accountable or just being confrontational when I need to stand up for myself. Oh, I remember why I wrote this. Okay, so I was in Madrid a few weeks ago, and it was during the heat wave. Like for the entire week that we were there, it was over 100 every day and super, super, super humid. And we're in this taxi going from the airport to the hotel. And this taxi is so old. Like, I felt like I was just sitting in a little shell, and all the windows were open because I'm pretty sure this taxi didn't have AC. And we're flying down this freeway, the hot, humid, dusty, ashy, because everybody in Europe smokes a lot, air is just hitting my face. And my eyes can't even open because the wind is so strong. And even if it did, like it would just dry out my contacts. So what's the point? And I'm sitting here and I am so upset because I have been struggling with acne for the past like 3-4 years of my life. And I finally feel like I have it under control. And I've worked so hard for this moment, and I could just feel the dust and the ash and I don't even know, my own hair, like covering my entire face and a bunch of pimples potentially growing. And instead of asking the taxi driver if he could turn on the AC and shut the windows, or just like if he has AC, I just sat there. I just sat there wondering why I'm punishing myself instead of just asking. And I think now looking back, I was probably afraid to ask because it's like a cultural woman thing. Like if I ask, I could come off as rude or ungrateful or high maintenance. And God forbid we're high maintenance. We want to be low maintenance. We want to be chill. So yeah, I need to get better at asking, even if the answer is no, or if the answer is just, sorry, I don't have AC, it's broken, or it doesn't exist in my old car. Because at least I tried, and then we can all move on with our lives, right? It's not ungrateful or high maintenance or rude to ask. I think it's all just about how you ask. So that was a long tangent, but my whole point comes back to this. It's that I don't want to be afraid of aging anymore because we get more time to work on ourselves to become more mature. But I know that listening to me saying, don't panic, change your perspective, everything's going to be okay, probably isn't as meaningful or impactful because I'm still trying to figure it out. So please allow me to share some success stories of some really well known people in next week's episode. For today, I want to leave you with this. Why are we only celebrating people's achievements and thinking it's impressive when they do it before 30? Like, oh, she was 26 and she became the CEO of her company. I think it's impressive when anyone achieves any of their dreams at any age in this day and age. And when you're older, you have more to lose, more reality to consider. Maybe you have kids, maybe you have a mortgage. And the fact that you can face all of that and still take that leap of faith should be and is even more impressive. If this episode resonated with you, it would mean so much if you liked, followed, subscribed, and all the things. If you know someone that would love this episode, please share it with them too. This is supposed to be a little corner of the internet where it's safe to feel chaotic and figure it out. And I'll be here every week doing just that. And it's a lot more fun when I get to hear from you.